morning, everyone, and welcome to Riderpiece Theater. Me, Alista, Dayhawk, and tonight, me proud to present Kamen Rider Gavv, episode 25. So the episode begins with Hobo Rakia just laying on the bench, and we see Sachika and Shoma, who apparently they came from the grocery store, because you see them, with holding bags of stuff. And then Shoma spots Rakia and just openly invites him over for some ice cream. And Rakia's like, okay, sure, why not? So all three of them return to the Happy Parade office where, we get to see what they bought, which is an ice cream cake. And you see, Shoma trying the ice cream cake for the first time, because at first he was like, wait a minute, this is ice cream. And Sachika's like, yeah, it's ice cream, but go ahead and try it. It's more than just ice cream. And he gets the slice, he eats it, and realizes, wait a minute, this is a cake too. And we get to see, Shoma in food heaven. And then you get to see Rakia, and he does not like it. And tells Sachika, I can't eat human food because it's not part of the Ganyu diet. And Sachika was wondering, okay, well, since you don't like human food, what do you eat? And I probably will try and get it for you. And apparently, Ganyuts eat rocks and iron. And you see Rakia just taking out a piece of rock from his pockets and just eats it in front of her. And Shoma's like, oh, yeah. So Sachika, Ganyuts eat iron and rocks. And the reason why I don't eat rocks and iron is because I'm half human. And during the time of me living in the mansion with my mother growing up, we had to eat grass and other plants to survive, which sucks because, eating grass especially, once again, Shoma had a really rough childhood. So Shoma, talks to Rakia and just says, I know that you have to eat your rocks and all that stuff, but can you please do not eat it in front of other humans? Because if you do, they will get scared of you and run away, and it's going to cause problems. And Rakia's like, well, I mean, I have to eat, right? and Shoma points out, look, I understand, but you cannot go to the Ganyu world, and you're pretty much stuck here, so you kind of need to adapt in living on Earth. And this is where Sachika comes in and asks Rakia, the best way to learn about humanity is to go to work. I have a job for you, and, we will go together, that sort of thing. And Rakia's like, no, you're going there by yourself. I'm not going to work. and Shoma says, look, you can work. She's going to pay you. And best of all, you will learn more about humans. And with money, you can buy more rocks, which that's a lie, because you can find rocks everywhere on Earth, and you don't need to pay for it. But Rakia doesn't know that, so he figured, okay, all right, I'll give it a chance. And Sachika's all happy, all giddy, and yeah, Rakia working, yeah. Especially on what he's wearing in this episode. I don't know who came up with the idea of him wearing that getup. He looks like a grandma with that hat on. He looks like he was dressing weird. I just prefer him with his debut getup when he became a Kamen Rider, or dressed him in all black. But in this getup that he's wearing, nah, he looks like a grandma. Anyways, we go to this woman eating a slice of cake, and she is talking to this VTuber named KabutoGuy, and all of a sudden she gets turned to a spice, and then a guy Newt appears from behind the television set and gets a bulletin from the stomach company, and just pretty much it's a bounty on Lakita's head. That's pretty much what it is. So we get to the next scene with Hanto. He's talking to Dr. Nick, and he is telling Dr. Nick how great these Kachizos are. I've gotten more powerful and all that. And Dr. Nick is so funny because he's like, so you enjoyed the Valentine's Day gift I gave ya? And Hanto's like, please don't call it that. Please don't call it that. Oh, he's funny, that Hanto. So Hanto was noticing the empty boxes of pizza thing. So there were empty pizza boxes underneath Dr. Nick's table, and he was wondering, did you have a pizza party or something? And Dr. Nick lied, of course, to his face that, a friend from afar came over to visit me, and he ate like that amount of pizza and assumes that, hey, you young kids really eat a lot. Like, can you eat that amount of pizzas? And Hanto's like, no, that's impossible. Like, I can't eat like one box of pizza, sure, but the rest, like, no, that's impossible. So Hanto has been surfing his phone and discovers a post that Bizarro has made another appearance, a new Bizarro, and he is beating up people inside a gym. And this causes Hanto to almost call Sachika, and he decides that he will go after Bizarro on his own now that he has his powerful, cold, bitter Kachizos. And he leaves. And Dr. Nick, with his evil look on his face that he is so happy to see his apprentice growing up to be much stronger than before, that sort of thing. So Hanto goes to hunt down Bizarro, and we get to the Kita's first day of work, which it ended badly because after moving 3 sets of furniture, he decides to call it quits. He just lays down and takes a nap in front of the client, and Sachika is, oh great, like, Lakita, wake up, we haven't finished yet, you could take a nap later. That was funny. So after the disaster that is the Kita in his first job, we go to Hanto. No, not Hanto. Not yet. Shoma. He is working on something, and he gets a report from his Kachizo scout that it spotted Bizarro, and he goes out and tries to find him. And then we go to Hanto. He goes to the gym, and he sees a sea of beaten up humans, well, karate masters or taekwondo masters, whatever, martial artists on the floor. And happy Bizarro, because the reason I call this version, the third version of Bizarro, happy Bizarro, because he still has, he wants to play. The only difference is his playtime is beating humans up. Unlike his other two, this one, it likes to beat up people. So Hanto uses his new form, and again, this fight is more vicious than his previous fights. And you see Hanto, not giving Bizarro an inch of anything. And he easily overwhelms bitter Gavv to the point where he realizes, like, yeah, I can't beat this guy, so I have to escape. So I have to say the way he did it was creative and funny at the same time. Because Bitter Bizarro decided like, hey, I cannot lay a hand on you because you're not giving me an opening right now, so I have to escape. So he uses his Gavv to puke out his sword and just flies it, like throws it in front of Hanto, which he blocks, and that's when Happy Bizarro makes his getaway. And that was it. So he escapes, and Hanto demorphs, and Shoma shows up too late, and he notices Hanto, and he just says his name, and Hanto turns around and didn't respond. He just stares at him and tries to leave, but not before he touches his chest because he was experiencing a chest pain, and he just ups and leaves, giving Shoma a cold shoulder, and Shoma's like, what's going on here? And I'm confused because I have to be honest here, guys. I thought they made amends already. After everything, the confession, the forgiveness, everything, you would assume that the bromance is back together. But why is Hanto giving Shoma the cold shoulder as he did just now? It doesn't make any sense unless the evil Kachizo, is making him to do that. Like the same way the symbiote is controlling Peter and all his mannerisms. I don't know, but Hanto is such a weird guy. Anyways, chest pain, Hanto leaves poor Shoma behind, giving the cold shoulder, and we get to Lakita standing in line for some dessert in front of a bakery. So somehow, some way, Sachika woke Lakita up, finished the first job, and his second job is to get a dessert. And of course, Lakita is like, okay, this is easy, even though I certainly do not like to work, but standing in line and buying something, okay, that's good, that's easy. So we see him in line for a dessert, and at the end, we immediately go to the next scene where Sachika gives the dessert to this client, and she gets paid. And this is where we get a little bit of a little bit more information in regards to the VTuber KabutoGuy, and how he is streaming desserts, and he is the main reason why this client wanted to buy this dessert, because she saw this VTuber eating or promoting this dessert, so she wanted to try it. And that's pretty much it. And then after Sachika gets paid, she drags Lakita to another job, a third job. And of course, Lakita's like, oh, great, another job. Only this time, they get hired by this kid named Koji. And the reason why they were hired is to become bodyguards, because apparently Koji wants them both to follow him to where he's going, because he's going to meet the VTuber KabutoGuy, and the reason why is because he's been following this VTuber for quite a while now, and he has noticed something weird about him, and he wants to find out what it is. And as an insurance policy, in case something bad happens to him, there they are, Lakita and Sachika being there, and they'll be able to protect him and all that good stuff. So we know the reason. And then all of a sudden, Sachika gets a phone call, and apparently there's a cancellation. So she had to leave Lakita behind and pretty much telling him, hey, you're on your own. Please help this client out. And yeah. So she leaves Lakita with this kid, and the kid is like, oh, great. I'm alone with this kid. Oh man. So Shoma, back at the office, he is very worried about Hanto, especially when he saw him just grab his chest. Shoma assumes that he is sick as well, and he's worried about him, and the whole cold shoulder thing. And Sachika just bursts in and tells Shoma, about Lakita and all that stuff. And Shoma's like, "Are you sure it's all right for Lakita, being alone with this client? Are you sure about this?" But Sachika's guaranteed, like, no, he's gonna be fine. Don't worry about it. All he has to do is just keep close with the client and protect him in case he runs into trouble, and that's it. And then Sachika just pulls out, the KabutoGuy's live stream and just tells Shoma about this live streamer and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden, you see these comments during the live stream about, hey, so-and-so went to your house and never came back. What's going on? Where is so-and-so? And as these same comments from different users are telling, KabutoGuy, where is my sister? Where is my friend? They visited you and all that stuff. They never came home. Where the hell are they? And they both stared at each other and realized that maybe, just maybe, this KabutoGuy could be a Ganyute. And speaking of a Ganyute, we go back to Koji, and they both stumble across a bakery or a cafe that serves this special pudding, and unfortunately for Koji, he couldn't afford it, so he's like, never mind, let's just keep going. And then we see Lakita just getting a flashback during the time where he and his little brother just stumble across a cart. They were selling rocks, and he wanted to get a rock to eat, and you see Kamen just holding this giant piece of rock and asks his older brother if he could get it. And that's pretty much it there. And then he gets a phone call from Shoma telling him that this VTuber could be a Ganyute, so can you please tell Koji to not go through with this meeting. And Lakita warned him, Koji that is, to not go because it's not safe. But Koji's like, okay, I'm still gonna go. If you don't wanna follow me, that's your choice, but I'm still gonna go. And Lakita goes by saying, oh, humans, I don't understand them. I warned him and he still wants to go. I don't get it. Like, he's being dragged. Today is not his day. He's been forced to work. He doesn't want to work. Oh no. So as Lakita is reluctantly following this kid around after warning him not to go, poor Shoma, he's still sick, and you have another Kachizo scout. And he tells Shoma that, Bizarro, happy Bizarro has made his move. He's causing trouble again. And this is where he had to make a choice. Either go meet up with Lakita and deal with the Ganyute, or deal with his evil half. And you can tell that he chose the latter. And speaking of the latter, we get to see happy Bizarro, and he beats up 2 cops, and he is jumping for joy as he's spinning the cop's hat around, and he was on top of a car, and he's pretty much doing his happy dance. And then Shoma shows up, and he quickly transforms into his ultimate form, his ice cream form. And we get this mini fight, and you can tell that Shoma is having a bad time, just because he is still sick, and he can't really fight all that well. However, he still managed to give a couple of hits to his evil half, and by the end of the scene, it looked like Shoma defeated him. So we thought. And then we get this weird cutscene with the ice cream Kachizo starting to melt. So it's bad. So we go to Koji. He meets with KabutoGuy and gets a shocking discovery. Apparently, Koji is the real KabutoGuy. He's the owner of that Vtuber model, and he is trying to expose the faker. And then we get this reveal that, the Ganyut, and then we get to see the reason behind, this whole thing. Apparently, this Ganyut lost his human disguise, and he had to come up with a way to, get another disguise without exposing himself and all that stuff. So he somehow, some way, got his hands on Koji's Vtuber model, and with it, he was luring people into this manor or house and giving them desserts, and as they were eating, they get turned into spices, and that was the plan. And so the Ganyu was about to attack the poor kid. Luckily, Lakita came in and just protects him and tells him to run away. And then we immediately go back to Happy Bizarro versus Ice Cream Shoma, and unfortunately the fight had to end abruptly because the Kachizo melted and it reverted Shoma back to its human form and gets punched into a bunch of wooden boxes. And Happy Bizarro was like, I don't know what just happened here, but I will take this win and do my happy dance, and just goes away. And Shoma realizes, oh great, so my ice cream Kachizo just melted on me, and apparently there is a time limit now, so I have to learn how to adapt to this thing. Because now that he knows that his ultimate form has a time limit, he needs to find a way to either fight before it melts or finds an item that prevents the ice cream from melting. So right now, Shoma is sick and defeated with, his ice cream Kachizo all melted and all. And then we quickly go to the next scene with Happy Bizarro. You just see him just skipping around and just having the time of his life. And then it gets interrupted by Bizarro. It gets interrupted by Hanto, who demands a rematch. And this is one of those fights where I'm like, I never seen those kind of fights where they had to fight in such a narrow area, because we always see fights in open areas, but in this case, in this fight, it's a narrow hallway full of stuff. And I have to give kudos to the suit actors because they were so creative in throwing stuff at each other. And you see Hanto using the stairs and still shooting so viciously. And you see a couple of shots from bitter Gavv and all that. But still he gets overpowered by, soon to be bully Hanto. And it's so funny because you see bitter Gavv just throwing stuff at Hanto. Even to the point where you see him throw a steel barrel at Hanto, but instead of shooting at it, Hanto just used his head to reflect it back to bitter Gavv, and the rest is history. And it's impressive. Kudos to them. And the fight ends with another clone being destroyed, giving Hanto another victory. No more losses for now. But unfortunately, the cost of the victory gives him another more stronger chest pain. And he's wondering, like, how come I'm getting chest pains? What's going on here? So we get from Hanto destroying another Bizarro, and we go immediately to Rakita and the guy Newt. And this scene is pretty much, telling Rakita, I can't believe that you turned traitor. I haven't seen or heard any guy Newt who were stupid enough to quit on the Stomach Company and all that. And he heard rumors about Lakita's little brother Kamen and how he tried to leave but ended up getting killed because he was weak and all that. And which causes Lakita to pull a Will Smith, if you will, and he transforms and tries to fight him, and that's how the episode ends. It's a okay episode. We discovered that Ganyuts eat rocks and iron. We learn that Shoma had to eat plants and grass in order to survive. We've learned that the ultimate form has a time limit because ice cream can melt. So Shoma has to find a way to overcome that situation. Let's see. Jeep is still in mourning. He's still in the character closet. He hasn't been seen since Connie the Crab. So I don't know what the hell, creative is doing to him right now. The Stomach family is still in the closet as well. They're not doing anything. Hanto right now is going through the motions and becoming bully Hanto. But right now he is developing chest pains for no apparent reason and giving Shoma the cold shoulder for no apparent reason whatsoever. Let's see, what else happened? Oh, Lakita. Lakita in his first day of work. You can tell that he's in pain inside. He doesn't want to work. And he's being dragged into doing this. But, it is what it is. I mean, Lakita right now is a hobo dressed in his grandma's clothes. What else aside from what I just said? Shoma is still sick. And yeah. Oh, and also the discovery that Koji was the one who created that Vtuber model, and somehow, some way, that evil guy Newt stole it from him. And yeah, I think that's it, guys. Give me your thoughts and opinions about episode 25. Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Did I miss anything? Even though I have my notes in front of me, I may have missed a couple of things. Where the hell is G-Bat? Is he still in mourning again? When is he gonna make a reappearance? What about the rest of the family? Where the hell are they? Come on, we're in episode 26 now. Where the hell are they? We're going into that hump. Once we hit the 30s, things are going to get really spicy and heading into the end game. Yeah, we need those characters back. And yeah, I think that's it, guys. Give a like if you like it, and please subscribe. And I'll see you all on the other side of Oblivion. Johnny!